So when it comes to trout fishing with lures, probably the first two lures that come to mind is the good old Tassie Devil and just a trusty old spinner. They catch fish all around the world, have done for forever, and will continue to do so forever. But for this trip, I'm going to be fishing hard-bodied or diving minnows for trout in a river. I love fishing them because not only do small fish eat them, but they really appeal to the big fish in the rivers. So probably the most popular trout lure in the world is the Rapala CD5, floating 5, 7, whatever it may be. They do a 3, a 5, a 7, a 9, all different sizes. Now, when it comes to choosing a Rapala, it's quite simple to know the difference between a CD and a floating. CD is the countdown, meaning that it sinks and you can count it down. So you've got your CD there, and if I go a floating, all right, if we look at those, the main difference is when you're picking them off the wall, the CD has the green packet. Okay, so that guy sinks. This bluey coloured packet here is the floating. They both have slightly different bib shapes. The CD has a bit of a scoop in the bib, so you can also know just by putting your thumb on it, you'll know that that's a sinking model versus a floating model. You will need both. The great thing about a floating is that you can roll it a little bit slower and it gets a bit more of a wriggle. The great thing about your sinking, you can fish it a little bit faster, but you can also sink it down deeper in the deep pools. So it's worth having both. Okay, so you've got your rainbow trout, you've got perch, and probably the other most popular colour would definitely be brown trout. There's a range of different colours on offer, so pick one that you like, but something like this, trout love eating trout, so, or little redfin, so it makes sense to fish these sorts of colours. If we move across this way, you get more into your, high-tech plastic injection style lures. You've got your dialer double clutches, they're just so good. When it comes to a double clutch, look, it pays to have a range of sizes in any of these lures, everything from small to quite big. I don't mind throwing 100 mil sort of size lures for a big trout. They will eat them. But something like this guy here and that guy there, absolutely perfect. Just a goldy colour, trout love gold, and then a little smelty or minnow sort of pattern like that. And then probably my other favourite hard body for catching trout, and while they're more regarded as a brim lure, the Cranker range of lures catch trout flat stick, and they've actually got a couple of really good options in their colour range for trout. The other thing I do like is that you've got, the other thing I do like is if you go that 59mm minnow, you can get the deep diver and the shallow runner. Now, it's worth having both, because if you find a lure that's working really well, like you might find that gold is just catching them in all that shallower water today, and you hit a bit of deeper water, you can quickly switch over from your shallow runner to your deep diver, and you're running the same coloured lure that's potentially catching the fish on the day. So there we have it, a bunch of diving lures to fish in a river. You can also use them in the lakes, and yes, I will have Tassie Devils in my box and spinners and all sorts of other bits and pieces, but the purpose of this is to try and find a few trout on diving lures.